Southwest Hot Chefs and Restaurants is brought to you in part by Viking, delivering the ultimate in performance and design for cooking indoors and out.
Tom, I loved seeing the tour of your restaurant, the Roasted Clove, and I'm so glad you could join me here at Builder's Source Appliance Gallery in Santa Fe today.
Well, thank you.
So we have the full run of this gorgeous Viking professional kitchen, and I'm dying to know what recipe you brought to share with us today.
Well, today we are going to cook my New York steak Florentina, which is a rosemary and balsamic marinated strip steak.
Okay, sounds simple enough.
Well, should we just go ahead and get right into it?
Yeah.
And we'll start making the marinade.
You brought fresh rosemary.
This is some fresh rosemary. It's got a beautiful aroma to it. And what we're going to do, if you wouldn't mind help me make this, we're going to hold the top of the rosemary and we're going to strip it back to us, and you'll see that the leaves just fall right off. And if there's two...
It's a baby rosemary.
Yep, you just do the same thing. And we're going to make a nice little pile of this. When you get to the top, you can just kind of break it off like that.
Okay.
And then we're set. And while you're doing that, I'm just going to cut some garlic. These are cloves of garlic. Before we do anything, we're going to just go ahead and remove that root end, the end that connects to the middle of the bulb. I'm just cutting that top off.
Sort of releases the flavor of the garlic that way.
Yeah, a little bit. And it's just a little... it's a little hard, and it's just not going to really work with the texture that we're shooting for.
Tom, you are a very good teacher. Do you teach cooking classes at your restaurant as well?
I do. I've taught cooking classes at the Roasted Clove now for, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years, and I get a great response. It's a lot of fun. One of the classes that people most like is my knife skills class. There's a million recipes out there, but not a lot of people telling you how should you really use the most important tool that you have in your kitchen.
Then you believe that the knife is the most important tool in the kitchen?
It is. It's tough to make anything without being able to cut it.
So the little set I got for my wedding 9 years ago is probably, that I've never sharpened, is probably not optimal?
Probably need to take a little care of that. We want to keep your knives sharp. Dull knife is a bad knife. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to smash this garlic, and it's going to make it easier to cut. You can see that it rolls around. Put it on the top of my knife, my hand, and just push down, and now it's flat. I'm going to do this to a couple of them here. So I'm going to now slice the garlic lengthwise.
So smash it, slice it.
And now I'm going to come back and cut it again.
And this recipe can be found on southwestrestaurants.com, as you can find all the recipes from our show on southwestrestaurants.com.
So let's just go ahead and bunch this together, and then I'd like for you, I'd like for you to cut it. We'll actually do this together. I'll take half, you take half. Go ahead and grab your knife, and we're going to use our left hand as kind of a claw, just to hold our pile.
Okay.
Okay.
Ready.
And just bring your knife down through it.
Oh no, just kidding.
No, you do.
You love
scared
that.
me for a second.
You love that, don't you?
Yeah, that's right. That's a good way to do it. And then I'll show you another technique, which I bet you're familiar with, and that's just putting your hand on top of the knife, using the tip, and keeping that as like a fulcrum.
Oh, and then keep my fingers out of the way?
Keep your fingers out of the way.
I gave you that little scare, now I get the...
and it also adds a little bit more pressure.
It does,
on the rosemary.
That's kind of fun, too.
So now we can kind of go in little circles.
All right, what do we do next?
If you wouldn't mind grabbing that pan right there, and we're just going to go ahead and put our garlic and our rosemary into this pan.
Let's do it. Okay, mine is a little bigger than yours. And
we're going to put some garlic. Now I'm going to grab some balsamic vinegar that we have here and just pour it right in. And if you wouldn't mind grabbing the whisk.
Yep. And just whisk away.
And we just want to make it nice and homogeneous. So it looks fantastic. What we're going to do now is grab our steaks.
Let's marinate.
And these are some 18-ounce center cut, bone-in sterling silver strip steaks.
They're mega steaks.
They're mega steaks. I'm a big guy, I like a big steak. This is one of my most popular dishes. We introduced it this past winter, and boy, I tell you what, it just got eaten up.
Yeah.
So
how long do we marinate them for?
Normally I like to marinate it at room temperature for about 20, maybe even 30 minutes.
Okay.
Don't go longer than that. Please don't put it in your refrigerator overnight or anything like that. Do it at room temperature in a pan just like this, and it'll work out great. Don't put it in your refrigerator or do it overnight. It'll put too much flavor into it.
Okay.
And cooking your steaks from kind of a room temperature is a great way to go to get a nice even cook.
Okay.
So now that our steaks have been marinating for about 15-20 minutes, we're going to go ahead and put them onto our grill. So
This is the exciting part. We have
this
a
is
nice
always the exciting part.
hot grill over here.
We've got a nice hot grill. I'm going to turn up the heat just so that we have a lot of power. This is a little bit of olive oil, and I'm just putting it just a little bit in the bottom of this, okay?
Okay.
You can see a tad bit of smoke. We're good. And I'm going to pick up.
Really looks pretty as well.
Isn't it gorgeous?
Yeah.
And watch yourself. And we'll go ahead and cook both of these off.
Wow.
Now a steak this size, you know, a guy like me, I'm happy to eat this myself, but I'll tell you what, if we're feeling, it's nice, if you're looking for a meal that's, you know, summertime, something a little bit lighter,
Yeah.
you could split this steak among 2, even 3 people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's let these steaks get cooked, and we'll be right back and continue on with this recipe.
Oh, doesn't it smell good?